Hi, I'm Angie. As both a registered nurse and a yoga instructor, I have created this video, Yoga for High Blood Pressure, as a way to combine my knowledge in both fields and to be able to use yoga and movement to help as one of the tools to help lower blood pressure. So let's get started. Before we do, just make sure that your doctor, if you have high blood pressure, your doctor's aware of you doing exercise, has said it's safe, and just make sure that you are checking in with your body, making sure that you're not doing anything that is uncomfortable in your body. So with that, anything that I say today is just a suggestion. Like I said, make it be what is best for your body, so feel free to skip anything that I'm doing or change it how it feels best to you, or do something totally different, whatever works for you. So let's get started. For practice today, you're going to want a lot of props. So if you have blocks, great, blocks come in handy. If not, maybe a couple blankets or pillows, towels. We're going to do some real supportive poses today, so that we can get into a deeper stretch, to enable us to get into a deeper stretch. Let's get started in a seated position. So, seated on the ground. If you feel like you have tight hips, sitting on the ground is challenging. Maybe try adding a block on top of the blankets, folding the blankets as much as you need. And then coming to comfortable seat, whatever that is. Maybe it's legs out to the sides. Maybe you feel comfortable doing legs crisscross applesauce. Just know that the higher up that your hips are, the less strain that it tends to put on it. So feel free to lift up as much as you want. And the props, what they do, sitting up on that also helps to keep us from sinking down when we're sitting for long periods of time. So it just helps to angle us in the right direction. So pull any fleshy bits out. Really kind of shift back and forth on your hips, trying to find those two spots so that you can really press down. And then palms can come to your thighs, palms face up, maybe palms face down. Maybe start to add a gentle sway if you want. Maybe stillness feels better. Maybe you're not sure, so feel free to explore. Maybe try going front to back. Front to back creates anxiety for me, so side to side sway is what feels better. Like I said, maybe it's stillness, so find what's most soothing to you right now. So I'm going to give you my analogy of high blood pressure. It's a very kind of simple analogy, but for what we're going to do today, I think it really helps me to visualize it. So blood pressure is how hard our heart has to pump to get blood moving through the body. And the two different numbers measure two different pressures. And so the blood pumps from the heart into the blood vessels. And our blood vessels are like a straw. They're hollow, they're circular, and anything that causes how wide around that straw is to go smaller is going to make the heart have to push harder. So the blood pressure goes up. That's where high blood pressure comes from. So there are things that we can do to kind of help open up those blood vessels to make it a bigger straw. So think about you're having a drink and you have a nice big wide open straw. Think of how much fluid you can get coming up into your mouth. Now think of a really, really tiny straw. Think of how much pressure it takes for you to get that liquid up through the straw. It's the same thing with our blood vessels and our heart. So some of the things that we can do, or some of the ways that yoga helps to lower blood pressure, is it reduces stress. Stress is one of the biggest reasons that our blood vessels go from bigger and open to super clamped down. Things like high cholesterol, immobility, obesity, all those things can add to it as well, but stress is one of those things that we can modify. So finding ways to reduce our stress can actually open our blood vessels up a little bit more so that the heart isn't having to pump as hard. Yoga works really well to help reduce that stress if we can find the ability to tap into it. And the other thing yoga does is helps to physically open up space so that our bodies aren't so cramped. So think about how we sit. A lot of times we sit curled, hunched over, and everything's being manually compressed in here, meaning it's like we have our straw and our hands are kind of squeezing it together. Yoga helps to lengthen those muscles, open it up, open the chest up, open the abdominal muscles up, so that the heart doesn't have to work against that compression. So that's what the intent for this practice is today, to explore these movements and see how maybe they make you feel in your body and find a way to tap into them, maybe some of the relaxations. So, bringing your hands to the sides of your legs, picking them up if they were in crisscross applesauce, shaking your legs out. Just kind of get a little wiggle. And then either staying here, or if they're crossed, maybe try switching, crossing to the other direction. We all have one way that feels natural, one way that feels a little more weird. Same thing, maybe pull any fleshy bits out and lengthen up through the body. We're going to do some pranayama or some breath work. Doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes breath work is very uncomfortable for some. So if you need, feel free to skip it. Do your own sort of gentle movement right now to really kind of open into relaxation. Or if pranayama is challenging for you, then maybe try adding some movement. So that sway of the body, maybe lifting an arm or another arm, because that can help to relax if pranayama is challenging. And so we're going to take an inhale, and then as we exhale, gently let the body start to lengthen into the exhale. It's called lengthened exhale breathing. So maybe inhale for a count of 3, and then as you exhale, try and exhale just naturally. Don't strain in it. Just let it go to maybe a 4 or a 5. And inhale and exhale to whatever your body is doing without straining. So inhaling. And then as you exhale, maybe count, see if you can go for 1 or 2 counts longer. My body likes a gentle sway, so just notice if your body starts to naturally do something. Inhale. And then exhale. Try and lengthen 1 or 2 more. Maybe get curious. Inhale. Does your inhale count change? Exhale. If it's changed, count 1 or 2 more. Maybe relaxing your shoulders. Inhale. And then exhale. Letting a count of maybe 1 or 2 more. One more breath like this, maybe relaxing your shoulders even more, lengthening your neck. Take a long breath in to whatever count works for you. And then exhale, see if you can count 1 or 2 longer. Beautiful. Coming back, maybe rolling your shoulders out, maybe shaking your arms. Grabbing the sides of your legs, bringing your legs out to the sides, shake it out. Beautiful. Spinning around, coming into child's pose. So child's pose, there are a lot of variations. If you like padding under your knees, now is a great time to put some padding under your knees. And bringing your feet as close to touch as comfortable for you, knees as wide apart as feels comfortable. It's going to then be sinking the hips back over the heels, working the forehead down towards the ground. If child's pose is uncomfortable, maybe try grabbing a block or a pillow, placing it in between your sitting bones and your heels, maybe grabbing another block or a blanket, placing it in between your abdominal and your belly, your abdominal muscles and your thighs, and then just working to stretch out that way. If that's just absolutely uncomfortable for you, no worries. Maybe try coming just seated back on your legs, stretching your arms up overhead. Whatever variation you're doing, see if you can find the length, maybe from your fingertips all the way down your arms, down your shoulders, down your back. Lengthening down to your toes. Maybe explore tapping your fingers, pressing into all four corners of your palms. If it's comfortable, maybe try lifting your elbows off the ground, but drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Keeping the neck long. Maybe that doesn't feel good, so find more of a relaxed child's pose. Beautiful. Pressing into your legs, lengthening up through your body, coming down through plank pose, lowering your elbows, coming all the way down to your stomach, coming into a cobra. So, moving the blanket if it's uncomfortable for you, or adjusting it to wherever works. Hands coming down by your lower ribs. We're going to take 3 waving cobras. So in cobra, pressing into your toes, drawing your belly in, try and lengthen your tailbone down to the ground. Inhale, press into your hands, lifting up. See if you can find the length through the front chest and the back chest. Exhale, belly draws in, forehead coming down to the mat. If you want to move with the breath, inhale, lengthening up. If you don't, move at whatever pace feels good to you. Only go as high as you feel like you can. Keeping the shoulders down, collarbones wide. Exhale, coming down to the mat. One more. Once again, checking in with your legs and your pelvis, belly drawing in. Can you lengthen up through the back muscles this time? Working to open up that space so that the heart's not as compressed. And then bringing the forehead down to the mat again. Beautiful. Pressing your hips back over your heels, coming through a child's pose. And then when you're ready, curling your toes under, lifting your hips, coming up into a downward facing dog. If down dog is uncomfortable for you, then just walk your hands back and come to standing slowly. If you want to hold in a down dog, see if you can bend your knees, lengthening through the tailbone, trying to lengthen the chest and the torso. Once again, we're working to find length, but shake the head no, so you're not straining into those neck muscles. And then walk your hands, walk, step, skip, jump, hop, your feet to your hands, coming into forward fold. And then bending into your knees, pressing into your feet, slowly round up to standing. Head, neck, and shoulders being the last to come up. Beautiful. Shake it out. All right, we're just gonna do a half vinyasa coming down to a forward fold. So if forward folds are uncomfortable for you, forward fold is crown of the head down to the ground. So if you have vertigo, uncontrolled high blood pressure, you get a headache, anything like that, maybe try hands on the legs and not going down as far, but working to lengthen into the back if you don't want to go all the way down to forward fold. So bringing your feet to about hips width distance apart or shoulder width distance apart. Inhale, arms reaching up overhead. Only going as high as is comfortable. And then hands coming down through heart center, bending at the knees, hinging at the hips. Come down only as far as you want. Once again, checking in, maybe using your hands to help support you on your thighs or your shins. Or if it's comfortable, crown of the head coming down to the ground. Keep your knees bent. The last thing to worry about is how straight the legs are. In fact, the more straight they are, the more strain that can put. So kind of keep a gentle bend in the knees. See if you can lengthen from the hips. So try drawing the belly in and just letting the crown of the head relax down to the ground. If it feels good, maybe swinging a little bit side to side. Keep the abdominal muscles drawing in. If you're in a more elevated position, just maybe try swinging your hips a little bit, shaking your head no, rolling your shoulders out. Just working to find length in the torso, whatever variation you're doing. And then bending into your knees
Everybody, tailbone coming down to the ground. Slowly start to round up. Press into your feet and see if you can stack one vertebrae on top of the other. And vertebrae are your spinal bones. So stack one bone on top of the other. Shoulders roll up and down. Palms come to stand, face forward. Beautiful. Check in. Notice what it feels like to be standing now. Maybe pressing into your feet, lengthening up through the torso. We've done a lot of work to work into this openness. Maybe shake your head. And then whatever it is, shake out your arms, shake out your legs. That's actually a really good stress reliever. Just shake out all that tension. Beautiful. Now we're gonna do one of my favorite poses, which is very much a non-traditional yoga pose. I'm fully gonna acknowledge that. And I like to call it magic melting ice cream. So bring your arms out, make a big circle. Imagine that you're a bowl of ice cream. Whatever kind of ice cream you wanna be, whether it's cashew milk, salted caramel, which is what I'm craving, or chocolate, mousse tracks, whatever it is, gelato. Imagine you're a bowl of ice cream. And now someone's left you out on the counter. So imagine melting down. How would it feel to be ooey and gooey, melting down to the ground? Or melting down as low as you want. Go with what feels best in your body, maybe down to here. If you want to melt all the way down to the ground, feel free to melt all the way to the ground. And then here comes the magic part. We get to magically regrow. So pressing into your feet, tailbone down to the ground, slowly start to stack one vertebrae or one spinal bone on top of the other. Drawing the abdominal muscles in, rounding the shoulders, up and down your back, palms come to stand, face forward. Beautiful. Notice, maybe check in, how are you standing? Doing that again. So arms coming out in front. Imagine you're a bowl of ice cream. And then you get left out on the counter. So notice, maybe explore, what does ooey and gooey feel like? Melting down. Melting to whatever level you want. Making sure you melt into your shoulders, letting go of that tension. Notice what it feels like, or maybe coming all the way down to the ground. Your choice. And then whatever variation, pressing into your feet, tailbone down to the ground, slowly round up to standing. Head, neck, and shoulders lengthening up. So press into the feet, length through the body. Palms coming down. Beautiful. Last time. So make this as ooey and gooey as you want. Hands coming out, your bowl of ice cream. And then you get left out on the counter. So make it as melty as you want. Melt anything away that you don't need. Let some of that tension go. Maybe this is hard for you and you feel silly. Totally fine. See if you can melt that away, going down as low as you want. And then when you're ready, tailbone coming down to the ground, pressing into the feet, slowly rounding up to standing. Lengthening up through the spine, rolling the shoulders up and down and back. Palms come to stand, face forward. Beautiful, neck long. Maybe get a sway side to side, but check in. Notice what it feels like. What does the length in your body feel like? How was that? Was that challenging for you? Did that feel good? Play can relieve a lot of stress. So playful movements like that can actually really help stress. But whatever it was, shake it out. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Beautiful. And then however is easiest for you, come down to the seat. And then from there, we're gonna come into Shavasana, or final resting pose. Final resting pose can look a lot of different ways. Maybe it's flat on your back with arms and legs out to the sides. If that's uncomfortable for you, maybe try bringing the feet to the wide edges of your mat, letting your knees fall in together, and see if that relieves some of the tension. Maybe try on your side in fetal position. Or if seated's just not comfortable for you, if laying down is just not comfortable for you, feel free to do Shavasana in a seated pose. I'm gonna do Shavasana seated today.
So if you're seated, pull any fleshy bits out. Whatever variation you're doing. Maybe roll your shoulders out, shake your neck. If breath is comfortable for you, maybe try a couple more of those lengthened exhale breathing. And work to find that relaxation. Maybe you need a little bit of movement, so feel free to add a little bit of movement in if that works for you. I'm going to be quiet for about a minute. So take one last breath if you do breath, and as you exhale, settle in. Nature tops the list of potent tranquilizers and stress reducers. The mere sound of moving water has been shown to lower blood pressure. Patch Adams. Slowly start to bring some life and some movement back into your bodies. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Reaching your arms up overhead, coming into one last final full body stretch. And then if you're on your back, bring your knees into your chest, rolling to whichever side is most inviting for you. And then push yourself up, coming to a comfortable seat facing me. Once again, comfortable seat, whatever works for you. Legs out to the side if that's more comfortable. Bringing your right hand, flexing it at the wrist, right elbow out towards the center of your chest in half prayer. Left hand, all four fingers and thumb together. And then as dramatically as you want, give yourself a high five, hands coming into prayer. Thank your amazing body for all the wonderful work that it does for you, especially your heart. If it's comfortable, bring the base of your thumbs up to that point to your third eye, the spot between your two eyebrows. Thank your amazing mind for letting you explore, finding ways to tap into your body to maybe lower your blood pressure. Hands coming back to heart center, and then if it's comfortable, bowing down. The light and dark in me sees and honors the light and dark in all of you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Beautiful job. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and follow me on social media. On Facebook, it is AB Yoga Info, and on Instagram, it's AB_yoga_info. And then I hope you have a lovely day. Definitely let me know if you have any questions and how that felt. Bye.